What's going on, guys? Coach Gaglione here. This is another Garage Gym Reviews update. I'm your host, Coach Gaglione, and if it's your first time stopping by, I've been involved with powerlifting and strength coaching for over 19 years. For those that don't know, I'm kind of most well known for coaching Larry Williams during his powerlifting career. And again, if you're not familiar with Larry's kind of powerlifting accolades, we're just going to kind of go through those really quick. So even currently right now, Larry since has not competed in about 5 years. In terms of full powerlifting, he did his last meet in 2020 at the Arnold, the XBC Finals, where he broke Eric Lillibridge's 308 world record, weighing around in like the low 280 range. You can kind of see here, just kind of based off by formula, still top 15 of all time among all of men, raw with sleeves. And if you go in terms of his prowess as a junior, he's still top 5 all time for kind of junior totals here. So for those that kind of do freedom units, as a junior, he did a 2275 total, which broke Stan Efferding's world record at the time. And then again as far as in the open, so in the open we did that 22. Larry did a 2370 on 8 attempts. He went 8 for 8. And eventually kind of Zach Myers broke that. Who's been doing fantastic still. So again, still top 15 all time in the open, top 5 all time still as a junior lifter. Done some great things. You can kind of see all his kind of qualifications here. And you can kind of see from like Raw Unity on. So almost like 100% of Larry's career from 19 up until like 26 years old. And again, I think there's like a squat only meet, which is not like on his official results, but all the full meet results are on here. So anyways, so I just wanted to kind of go through like a chest workout that Larry just did, Larry and myself. So in 2021 was kind of like the first year where Larry was kind of doing some consulting, coaching, and programming with me. Really not as competitive. He just wanted to kind of do some training in New York. He kind of was visiting his hometown, visiting family. This is before, the tragic passing of Otis Perkins, Black Tom Cruise. You guys may know him, infamous hype man. So in 2021 was kind of the last time that we did in-person training together, but from let's see. So from so over like 10 years. So we've been kind of working together now at this point on and off for a 10-year period, which is pretty cool. He had some stints in strongman. He's kind of a little bit more focused on physique and bodybuilding and just kind of content creation in general right now. But over the last 10 years, and then from 2015, from 2015, 2014 is when we kind of first started working together. But from 2015 through 2020, kind of that 5-year period was when he had his kind of big stint in powerlifting. And in terms of like a 5-year run, one of the best runs in powerlifting history. All-time world records in 242 class, all-time world records. He had a 2171, 2275 at 275, and then the 2370 as a light 308. So anyways, so in terms of, I wanted to kind of provide this video. So number one, obviously, hopefully people will kind of click on it. But there's going to be a point in time where I'd say like for most people, I think everyone's going to have anywhere on the low end, like a 5-year kind of stint if you're really pushing hard, kind of like Larry did. But most people will have a good like 10-year kind of span in terms of their competitive career, in terms of when they can make, in my opinion, meaningful progress. So even if you kind of like look at myself, some of my own results on open powerlifting, you'll kind of see that. And again, I know like for me, like as an equipped lifter, it's not exactly an apples to apples comparison. But you can kind of see here, I started to kind of have some issues. So I started competing in 2006. Had really, really steady progress up until about 2014. Got really heavy, and then a lot of my best results in terms of actual performance kind of was from 2021 through 2023. But I was able to kind of, go from, a low like 1,000-pound total to a 2,100-pound total over like, a 15 to 20 year kind of period. But in terms of my absolute strongest was around 2014, 2015. And then I kind of just became a better lifter after that. I didn't really necessarily get much stronger. So just something to consider here. So anyways, want to provide some context. So Larry kind of came to me, and one of the reasons, again, this is like a public workout. I'm not going to kind of go through any other workouts that he did not share publicly, but I thought it would be a good opportunity to kind of showcase, maybe you are listening to this, maybe you're not a competitive lifter. Most people are going to be recreational lifters, but you still have some sort of strength goal. So Larry wanted to improve his squat, his bench press, and his deadlift. At the end of the day, he loves getting stronger. He loves just feeling strong, and he loves pursuing strength. And I think that's going to be a common theme that I'm going to continue to kind of preach, kind of moving forward. This is about the pursuit of strength. This is about the pursuit and also seeking out camaraderie and seeking out competition. So one of the things that, kind of working with a coach, obviously you're going to kind of get programming, you're going to get accountability, but you also kind of have, if you are part of like a team. So again, right now, kind of when Larry got started, he kind of trained with our crew in Long Island, New York. That's kind of our HQ location. It's kind of where we got started. And he would kind of, come out from the Bronx to kind of train with us. At the time, online coaching was not as accessible. We didn't have the tools like you're going to see Turnkey Coach. So I think Turnkey Coach is something that's going to be very important. If you are someone that is in a garage gym setting, a lot of people in a garage gym setting, they want to pursue strength. They want to, not everyone has, and some people want to look better. They want to look better naked. They want to pursue hypertrophy. For most people in a garage gym setting, I'd say it's more on the rare side. It's getting more popular, but most people have some sort of strength element if they're training in a garage gym setting. So whether that be in your home gym or just kind of a gym like Gaglione Strength in Farmingdale, New York, or like Gaglione Strength in Milton, like kind of some of the original kind of garage gyms, you think about like people like Zach Evanesh and Joe DeFranco, they kind of popularized these kind of garage gyms for like athletic performance, and then more and more gyms would pop up in terms of, kind of powerlifting. I would say like we're one of the original powerlifting gyms that kind of offer team training as like an actual service. And I'd still say it's pretty on the rare side. A lot of kind of powerlifting gyms were more maybe just, not necessarily kind of like a business, kind of situation at that point. Although I do kind of consider the business and kind of the team as kind of separate entities, but that's kind of a topic for another day. But anyways, there's going to be some big differences. So a couple of things, Larry's been kind of pursuing bodybuilding, just, got his pro card recently. But he still wants to kind of go back and forth. If stand efforting is a great example of this, between kind of having more strength-oriented goals and hypertrophy and physique-oriented goals. And one of the things that's really important is how you organize your training. And now Larry has a lot more obligations as he's gotten older, as he's gotten more opportunities, more business opportunities. So it's going to be really important to organize your training in like a more unique way. If you're a father, if you're a mother, if you're a business owner, if you have kind of a hectic schedule. So like right now, Larry has kind of 3 main training days per week. One day is going to be focused on squats. One day is going to be focused on bench press. One day is going to be focused on deadlifts. And then we're kind of sprinkling in his accessories throughout the week, his isolation work. So right now his priority is kind of building back up his conventional deadlift, but he also wants to kind of, do the squat and the bench press. And part of this is just going to be to, again, pursue strength, but also this is going to be just something that mentally he wants to kind of do. And I think that, if you are enjoying your training, if your training is sustainable and enjoyable, you're going to stick to it. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that. So this is just kind of an example. This is not exactly how I would program. This is not how I programmed him when he was, benching north of 600 pounds. And he hasn't really kind of done a lot of barbell benching, north of 400 pounds in quite some time, probably well over a year or two. So I wanted to kind of showcase that. So the first thing we kind of just worked on was just kind of getting some of his technique back. And I kind of, and even like here, I kind of gave some feedback, about kind of holding his lockouts a little bit longer and stuff, but you can kind of see his technique has, it's like riding a bike, right? For him, he's bench pressed over 645 pounds. He's done 645 pounds in competition. At his heaviest, obviously Larry has kind of downsized quite a bit. and he hasn't been kind of focusing on strength, but you can kind of see a lot of the motor pathways where he's got, good leg drive. He's kind of focusing on that good leg extension here. And we're going to and these are things that I would kind of highlight in Turnkey Coach, which we're going to go over in a second. And then we kind of did some reps here. And you can kind of see that Larry's got a good kind of tucked position, and he's keeping the wrists and forearms kind of stacked here. And then kind of in terms of for his bodybuilding development, and I kind of told him, I made some corrections here and some suggestions where I wanted to kind of eliminate the bounce. But at the end of the day, there's going to be kind of a balance of like Johnny Horse type weights, which is going to be kind of earlier in the workout, and then more Johnny Pencil Neck type training, which would be kind of more kind of optimal, more isolation work. But the incline press on a Smith machine is going to provide more potentially biasing the upper pec fibers as well as his front delts. And it's going to be a little bit easier to recover from than doing another barbell movement. So, and then from there, we just kind of finished off, and then we're kind of pairing more of a closer to a vertical push with a vertical pull. And, Larry's, kind of enjoying some pull-ups. And one of the things that pull-ups can be great if you can kind of tolerate them. You can kind of see, the lat development and the back development. And we're kind of sprinkling in more back movements throughout the week just because Larry has kind of a deadlift kind of focused goal. So that's going to be part of his, upper body training as well as kind of his. So some things might be more hypertrophy related and some things might be more strength related for his kind of his goals here. So now I know it's really in vogue to kind of really focus on the stretch position, but I do think as a bodybuilder and also just for fatigue management, it's also kind of good to kind of focus on kind of more squeezing, more kind of pump related movements just to kind of engage the muscle. So you can kind of see here, Larry's kind of doing some pec flies here. And then one of the things I kind of highlighted for him, just controlling the eccentric a little bit more and maybe kind of squeezing a little bit more. And then again, just kind of spreading out the back work and some additional shoulder work. So just a really kind of easy superset that you can kind of do is kind of rear delts. So again, one of the things that I kind of mentioned, getting a little bit more of a stretch in the beginning and then just kind of trying to stay out of those upper traps a little bit more. But again, you could still kind of see that the rear delts are kind of firing here. And then this is just kind of what the Turnkey Coach kind of looks like. And again, I have some notes here, and then we're going to kind of do like a video voiceover for him, just kind of like we're doing now. So usually we'll have a combination of the way I kind of program it of maybe rating a perceived exertion or reps in reserve. And I'll usually have some sort of a kind of load target for the athlete as well. And then sometimes we'll kind of, again, do some supersets here just to kind of to train time. So someone like Larry, his time is very valuable. If you're a businessman, if you're a husband, if you're a wife, if you're a mother, father, your time is very valuable. So again, that's going to be a different consideration if you're training for a competition versus just kind of training for general strength and kind of recreation here. So so this is kind of like what Turnkey Coach looks like in terms of the view for the individual workout. And again, we can kind of see that I could record feedback like this, so you can kind of hear my voice, hear my gestures, and then we're going to kind of go from here. So again, we're going to make some linear increases in weight, and that's if you're coming off a long layover, if you're coming off an injury, those are going to be some good things. But we're going to kind of keep this kind of format and then eventually kind of refine it for the person. So this is what this will be kind of delivered to you if you are using something like a Turnkey Coach. So again, if you are training in a garage gym setting, if you are someone that is training at a home gym, something like this, having a structured plan could help you kind of stay organized and on track. And one of the other things we'll kind of go through here, it's going to, again, keep track of your personal bests and your personal records, which is going to be really important. And I mean, it also is going to kind of tell you when you kind of did these things. And then over time, so I would love this to have this to use with Larry so we can kind of have more data points that are like readily available, which is great. But it's going to, again, track as much as you want to track. So it's going to track your machines. It's going to track your volume, your tonnage, your rep PRs. And that's kind of the name of the game. And that's what Team Personal Record and Larry is kind of all about, is kind of achieving your personal best and kind of working towards the best version of yourself. And then if that happens to be all-time world records, that's great. If it happens just to be kind of progress for you. But whether your goals are hypertrophy or strength, progressive overload, and setting PRs, with a consistent form, with a consistent standard, because obviously if you're kind of manipulating your form, if you're manipulating the range of motion, It's not an apples to apples comparison, but again, if you're using the same standardized technique, similar tempo, those sorts of things, that it's going to really kind of make sure that you're kind of getting bigger and stronger over time. So a stronger muscle and a bigger muscle, those things kind of go hand in hand. They are kind of closely related. It's not, again, just a one-to-one correlation. But again, strength and size can go hand in hand. So kind of striving for progressive overload over time. And typically what we're going to be kind of doing with Larry and what we do with a lot of our members is just kind of making sure that they are kind of getting stronger over time. Again, setting PRs is kind of the name of the game. So I'll kind of just show you guys here. So this is the workout that he kind of shared on Instagram. And then we can kind of see, and I'm going to, again, create some more video kind of feedbacks, but I have some kind of notes for him here. And then you can kind of see, this is what the workout looks like in your log. So you can kind of see, it's essentially going to keep Turnkey Coach is going to keep a very clean training log for you. It's going to allow you to kind of track your absolute strength. It's going to allow you to track your tonnage, your volume PRs, as well as your kind of isolation work. And then over time, we can kind of make better comparisons and then kind of make better training decisions moving forward. So again, when it comes to, again, garage gym training or home gym training, if you don't have a structured plan, and again, if you don't have someone to kind of hold you accountable, that's probably like kind of the biggest kind of downside. You could have access to a home gym, but if you don't have a plan and if you don't have someone to hold you accountable, a lot of times those garage gyms just kind of sit there. So having kind of a tangible goal, having a strength goal, I think is going to be really important for people, regardless if it's something where, you know, if you could do like an online competition or an in-person competition, and we're going to have, again, more announcements coming soon on different things that you guys can get involved with. But that's one of the reasons why I also kind of host and promote in-person events. You know, we're going to be doing more events in California. We have events in Delaware, and we have events in New York. So we're trying to kind of hit different regions, and those are going to be the regions that I kind of am responsible for Revolution Powerlifting Syndicate. So whether you're a more recreational lifter and you're striving for more personal best, or you want to be more competitive at some point. But I just wanted to kind of showcase some of the similarities and differences of where Larry is at now, is more of a focus on content creation and just kind of more as an influencer, if you will, versus when he was more of a competitive lifter. But essentially, on his kind of chest focused day, you can kind of see we did more kind of strength-oriented movements earlier in the workout, and then more isolation movements. And then we can kind of refine that structure over time based on what his goals are, his needs, and all that. And Turnkey Coach has been fantastic. Again, I wish I had this kind of tool when I was kind of coaching him in the earlier years, because it would have just, again, made, who knows, you know, I'm sure that, again, I believe that, you know, Larry was capable of, you know, 2,400 plus, especially even with if he didn't kind of tear his callus on his second attempt. Again, he went 8 for 8 his last kind of full meet in 2020. And again, I think that if he didn't tear his callus, I think he would have been good for, you know, 2,400 plus. But nonetheless, still one of the greatest, you know, powerlifting stints of all time in a 5-year period. Still like one of the best of this era. And I do believe that Larry had a big part in kind of promoting strength, all strength sports, not just powerlifting. And I just wanted to kind of showcase how we're using Turnkey Coach for him, how that might be applicable for you. And if you guys are kind of interested in using Turnkey Coach yourself, you guys could check the links out in the description if you want more information. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want more content like this, please comment, please share, please engage with the posts. Thank you so much. Until next time, stay strong, and we'll see you soon.